Dear listeners, this is the cold open to the cold open. I just wanted to put a content warning on this episode. Sexual assault and assault in marriage is being discussed, and it's coming up at the end of the episode. So we do warn before we start talking about it. So if that's something you don't want to hear, just finish the episode there and then and continue in happiness. We love you, dear listener, and let's get to the episode.
Hi, my name is Colin Nicole. I have a TikTok. I work in museums. I am about 6 feet tall. I'm very nice. I apparently have been a smoker for the past 50 years, even though I'm like 25. I'm 27 actually. I could do math. I'm a boyfriend. Hi, Sean.
Good day and welcome to Two Girls, One Corset, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of period dramas, from bodice-ripping romance to scandalous court intrigue.
I'm Max, your resident historical costumer and hopeless romantic.
And I'm Kaylin, a public historian and self-proclaimed Bridgerton maiden. Despite my great passion for history and drama, I have yet to watch a single episode of Bridgerton.
And that's exactly what we're going to do on this podcast. Watch and review each episode of Bridgerton, giving our unique perspectives on the characters, costumes, and historical intrigues.
So grab your corsets, boil yourself a cuppa, and join us as we take a trip back in time to Regency-era England with Two Girls, One Corset. Let's get started.
Hey, okay, everybody. This is a heavy episode. I have been dreading talking about this episode. Hi, Kaylin, how are you?
I'm doing pretty fine and dandy. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. I was just talking to my employer just an hour ago, and because we've both been just feeling kind of weird lately. Like, there's been a lot of crap going down in my life, and she said that she had a friend who said that it could be because of the solar storm or something. And it's messing people up a bit, that her friend had told her, so this is like third-hand basis, so, this is not a science podcast. But, yeah, that would explain a few things.
I don't know. All I know is that I miss the Northern Lights and I'm really upset about it.
Yeah, that was so annoying. Like, did you hear about it beforehand? Because I didn't hear anything.
No.
And I was like, is it just because I don't watch the news? And I'm even more annoyed because I was considering going out that night. I'm like, yeah, I should go out. And then I was so tired that I just ended up bed rotting instead of going out.
Well, what happened was I was in central London and I got a text from Sean's sister and to the group chat, and she sent us these gorgeous photos from their house with pictures in the Northern Lights and stuff. And so Sean and I were both in central London at the time, and we were looking around, and nary a color in the sky to be found.
What? Okay, well then it didn't really matter that it didn't go out then, because I was...
Well, yeah.
Because I was going to go to, Soho, but then, yeah. Then again, I fell asleep. Because that's how exciting it is to be a millennial in 2024.
Yeah, and then the thing, too, is they said it was possibly going to show up again the next day.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, sweet. Well, no harm done. And then I didn't see a thing.
No, me neither. I even went out that night, and I was looking for it. I even went home early, because I'm like, I'm going to catch it. And it's like, nothing. So that was lame.
I was disappointed.
Disappointed.
Yeah. But you know who isn't disappointed?
Who?
Daphne and Simon at the beginning of this episode, because at least just at the beginning of this episode, because they've both arrived at Cliveden and the servants are all lined up outside to greet them, and Daphne gets to look at this beautiful estate and be like, it's mine now.
It was giving Downton Abbey.
Yes. Although, I've been a bit traumatized, but I mean, not traumatized. Rebecca is a fantastic story, but I'm wary of any head maids and stuff now, or ever since Rebecca, because Mrs. Danvers has foiled them for me. But
wait, what are you on?
Have you not seen Rebecca?
What is Rebecca?
Okay, tangent listeners, it's a Daphne du Maurier novel. I think, I don't remember what year it was published, but it was really good. So I can't tell you this. Okay, we're going to have to take this off the pod, but basically the gist that you need to know is that this lady marries a mysterious widower, and then when they arrive, the maid is very sketchy because she was obsessed with the late wife.
Oh,
and
wait.
her name is Mrs. Danvers.
Wait, yeah. Oh, this sounds vaguely familiar. I think I've read it. Is it a book?
It's a book. They've also done a movie, and listeners, they have now tried to stage a musical version of it, which it's not bad.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to relook at it because again, like I read a ton, and it's like, if I get a question, like if someone asks, "What's your favorite?" I can answer that, but if they ask like, "What's your favorite book this year?" Like I don't think I can answer it because I read way too much and I don't remember. And up until this year, I didn't really have a system to systematize like the books I read, so I just had like a little notes on my phone, like called books I've read with like the title of the book and a rating, and it was so chaotic. But now I have like a proper Google sheet that is beautiful, and like I show it if it's like I go out with a finance person, I show them that spreadsheet and they're like, "Ooh, dang." I'm like, "I know." It's like we can both bond over this. Spreadsheets and books.
Looking for a guy in finance. 6'5", blue eyes,
blonde eyes,
hairline. Did you say blonde eyes?
No, blue eyes.
I thought you said blonde eyes for a second. Anyway, this isn't important because what is important is the whole point of our podcast.
I mean, I'm just avoiding this episode. I just don't want to talk.
That's fair.
It's not great.
No,
but let's talk about it. So they're literally having their honeymoon phase. They're arriving at Cliveden, and you can kind of tell a little bit like the what's her name? The housekeeper. She has like weird vibes to Daphne.
Yeah,
she's
Mrs. Coulson.
Up to Simon, and you're just like, okay, girl. But Daphne and Simon, they're like, well, screw you, bye-bye. And Simon's like, I want to show you my bedroom, hint, hint, wink, wink.
Yeah.
And apparently then we're supposed to believe that they spend a ton of time in there, which is cute. I'm here for it. But then we are flashback to London.
And there's a social gathering. Eloise is having a moment, of course, where she's whining about how she doesn't look forward to her debut and how she's like, what, I'm supposed to be trained on how not to cringe when a man steps on my toes and stuff. And Violet decides, you know what, now is the time. It's time for you to start wearing your hair up, and it's time for your skirts to be lowered.
Yeah. So, and they're at this social event, right? And it's like really pretty. And like, I think it must be Hampton Court that's filmed at, right?
I need to get another look at it. I feel like it very much could be. The gardens at Hampton Court are absolutely gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous. I didn't see them when they were in season, and I've been trying to go back to Hampton Court, but oh my gosh, it's extortionate, the prices to go.
Oh yeah, it's nuts.
What the frick?
Well, since you volunteered at Strawberry Hill now, you can probably get a Museums Association card, because that's what I used to get it. Honestly, HRP is full of a bunch of highway robbers. It costs £33 without donation to go to the Tower of London if you're an adult.
It's ridiculous.
I have no problem trashing them as a former employee that was treated terribly, so.
I'm including that. But yeah, at this social gathering, like, they don't say where, I don't know where it is. It's the Queen's social gathering. I guess it looks like the Queen's Garden. I don't know. Well, Colin and Marina announced that they're engaged, and it's so funny because you don't actually see a shot of Anthony. You just him, but you can see him being so stressed in the background.
Oh, yeah, I feel like I could visibly see his blood pressure raising.
So no one wants to be seriously, poor Anthony. Like, it does. I hope in season 3 that's coming out tomorrow as the date of recording, that he gets a break. Like, he just needs a break.
Oh yeah, no. Someone needs to have compassion on his poor nerves.
Someone needs to give him a cup of tea. Dear listeners who have actually watched season 2, I hope that Anthony gets to have a bunch of cups of tea from Kate, and that she's just doting on him, but also kicking his butt because he deserves it a little bit. But poor Anthony.
Yeah, he immediately goes over to Violet and he's like, "Did you know about this?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "Calm down. We're in public."
No, she says, I actually wrote this down. He's like, "Did you know about this?" And she just goes, "People are looking. Keep smiling." And it's like,
Smile.
And then Anthony and Colin are in the office, and Colin gets his sleepover privileges restricted immediately. Like, they're gone.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
no dumb nuts in the sleepover.
He probably just got the privilege to join the pajama party club.
Oh, yeah,
And
after the duel.
it's gone
sure.
now.
Yeah, after the duel for sure. But that's all gone.
Yeah, but what I love is Anthony's just like, "Oh, you were young and inexperienced. I should have taken you out to brothels."
Yes, that's what he said.
Sow
your wild oats. Don't marry the first kid you see. And I was like... It's like, Anthony, I'm on your side, but it's hard to be on your side when you're saying stupid stuff like that. But okay.
How can you know she's the one when you haven't been in your horror era yet?
Yeah, like your slut era.
You haven't even had
Kaylin,
a hot girl summer.
Sean is the one. You haven't been in your slut era yet.
I did have my slut era.
You did?
In the summer of, the closest that I could get during my slut era, it was in the summer of 2020, in the middle of the panorama. And
what? Ow!
I went on the mutual dating app, and I decided I'm going to swipe on every single profile. I just immediately went through, like, swiping up, kind of like for an hour.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to bed. I woke up to 4,000 messages.
Actually 4,000?
Actually 4,000. Because I put my settings onto, like, worldwide, all ages.
Oh, dear.
Let's go.
I mean, did you actually meet up with any of these people?
No, it was during the pandemic. So that's the closest I got to my hoe girl era.
Is that a slut era, dear listeners?
Not really. How slutty can a BYUI graduate get?
It's
Let's
like,
be real.
can we slut shame you? I don't think we can slut shame you. I'm sorry, Kaylin. You're not in the slut club.
Please. Aw,
I'm sorry,
that's
you're
fair.
not in the slut club.
That's fair.
Exclusive.
No, the only slut I am is a literary slut. I have written and read some things.
Oh no, I know you have. I know you have. You're a weird one.
Anyway, so Colin tells Anthony that he's formed a genuine attachment with Marina, and he's like, "Well, I don't need your blessing, but I don't need your permission, but I would love your blessing." Anthony says he'll have to disappoint Colin, and Colin says he accepts it and he leaves.
Huh. It's just so, yeah, it is what it is. It's just really uncomfortable the whole time. But then Anthony and, Daphne, she's like, from that really uncomfortable moment to back to Daphne really experiencing the greatness of sex. And they waking up, it's really cute. They're like tumbling around in the bed sheets. But Daphne needs to be a duchess, and the Duke is like, just be in bed and be my duchess, which was pretty hot, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was.
But she's busy. She's a busy woman, so she tumbles out of bed and stumbles to the kitchen, drag her servants, her housekeeper, for a guided tour of the house. Which is just also really uncomfortable. Also, can I just, because as Simon is, like, as Daphne has left the room and Simon is just in bed by himself, literally 5 seconds later, the servant just, like, barges in and talks about the school. And I'm just like, did he stay outside there, like, the entire time? Like, that would... that must have been so awkward, man.
Probably. He's just
guy.
like, I don't know how much longer it's gonna be. I really need to talk to him.
So
I don't know what to do.
Can they please fall out or something?
Give Jeffries a raise.
Is his name Jeffries?
Jeffries.
I love that you remember all their names, because I can't. I barely remember my own.
That's all right. I pulled up the Bridgerton wiki before to refresh my memory to make sure I got all the details. So, give Jeffries a raise. But yeah,
I feel so bad for all the servants in this house, except for those 2 girls outside the library, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So Daphne's getting a tour of the estate, and she's going through and seeing all of all of the grand things, and she thinks about the way she wants to redecorate and the event she wants to throw, and Mrs. Coulson is like actively trying not to like tell her no, but she's like, you want to redecorate?
Yeah, it's like, excuse me, I worked here. I mean, it was such a boomer moment. It was kind of funny. And then another boomer moment, but honestly, I have to give it to her. Like, she was serving cunt, and I'm so here for it. They walked past a portrait of Simon's mom, and she says, she was the perfect Duchess. And then she looks Daphne up and down.
Yeah, that was... It was funny to watch, but if something like that happened to me, I would walk into the ocean.
I know, but it was funny. Like...
It was.
Well, the housekeeper, yeah, she's obviously jealous, kind of. I don't really know if she's jealous of Daphne and the position she's in, or if she's just, like, not cool with the new mistress, but then it's really weird, because, like, after, like, 25 plus years, shouldn't you be... Because I don't even know if you were a housekeeper at that point. You would probably just been a maid. So I don't understand how you could have been that close with the Duchess, but whatever.
Yeah, like, she's... Like, I understand if she's a close friend of yours, like, not being able to let that go.
Yeah.
But, like...
Be happy. Come on.
Know.
Your friend's son is happy. Be happy.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like Daphne's rude, you know. Daphne's like naive, of course, as we come to see in the episode, but she's making a genuine effort. But they do make a point of eventually having Mrs. Coulson show Daphne the nursery, and Daphne kind of looks at it longingly and says it's lovely, but she knows that based on what Simon's told her, she's not going to be able to get any use out of it, and so she suggests that they move on.
Yeah. Well, and then in the evening, they're serving a formal meal, which was how the old Duke preferred it. And I'm just really confused by... Okay, well, again, it's Bridgerton, so, like, it's not supposed to be realist. But it also leads to a hot scene. But, like, the way that she... I don't understand, because she's hung out with the housekeeper all day, and I feel like that is thing number one, is to talk to your new employer. How do you like to take your meals? Because, like, as a servant, like, as staff, like, you need to sit down and have that talk. Like, I worked as staff for a while now, and it's like, you sit down and have that conversation. It's like, how do you prefer things to be? And it seems like, because I don't feel like Daphne would have been comfortable with this either. So it's like, why are we sitting in a formal setting? Like, it's just really weird. Whatever. She literally picks up her plate and goes to sit with her husband and is like, this is much better. And then he pulls off her glove, and it's, like, really hot and stuff. And then they run outside, and Simon wears a slutty little pirate shirt, and the sky opens up. Boom, boom, boom. And it starts raining.
Oh, no. It's raining, and we're stuck here. Whatever are we gonna do?
And Wildest Dreams by Taylor Swift by... the Vitamin C string quartet starts playing, and we're having sex outside a mausoleum, and all I could think was like, here's where the goths meet the girly girls meet the Swifties.
Well,
this scene just unites them.
Yeah, it as gothic as it was, it will still never beat Mary Shelley.
Are we really talking about her sex? We talked about Byron a few episodes ago.
I feel like our fan base would be familiar enough with the Mary Shelley story that they'd be on board. And I'm sure they're on board with Byron as well.
I'm not on board with Byron. I'm just...
No, I mean, not on board with Byron, but, like, know of him to the point where they're like, yeah, I get what you're laying down.
No, I'm so here for Shelley and Mary Wollstonecraft, all of these people, but, like, Percy Shelley... I mean, my little bit claim to fame is that I've seen his scratchings on his school bench at Eton, and I've sat in his seat. I know, that's my claim to fame with Percy Shelley, but yeah. Anyways, well, it's a hot, sexy scene, and it just cuts to a collections of sexcapades. And apparently we also learned kind of that Simon has the strongest pull-up game in the entire universe, apparently, which is like, anyways, it doesn't make sense to me. Whatever. But yeah, you also see like the staff are like they're having like full on like oral sex in the library, and I'm just imagining the poor staff, other than those two girls who was listening to it. Also, can we just like okay. Like it is funny that they're listening, right? They're listening into this. But and it's kind of funny, but like honestly, if I hear someone having sex anywhere close by, I will walk the other way.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm like, ooh, how silly, I want to listen. For me, I'm just like, I feel awkward now. I'm just gonna.
I guess if it's like you don't have like any other I don't know, of the sexual nature, but I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's like a whole like drama with the staff at whatever the Clydesdale Hall. What is it? Not Clydesdale. Whatever. At the
Cliveden, I think.
Cliveden Hall, whatever. Like, I'm sure there's a whole lot with But anyways, it just made me think about as well. I had a housemate when I just started university, and I think she thought the walls was much thicker than they were.
Oh.
Because I would often hear her engage in some special alone time, and I can hear very clear buzzing sounds from her bed. I was like, okay, cool. But then when she brought over men, I could hear that as well, and it was like paper thin walls as well. I don't think she knew that I knew. Although one morning I did say to her, "Wow, so you had fun last night?" And she's like, she just turned tomato red in the face and was like, "Oh my gosh." But yeah. Anyways, I moved out of there pretty soon after that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyways, it's morning at the Bridgerton house. No one wants to be with Colin. Like, literally, he walks into the room and everyone leaves.
It's hilarious, and part of the reason of the shock with everybody is Lady Whistledown has addressed this engagement in her most recent edition.
She has. Even to the extent that Violet says, "I'm glad I found out before Lady Whistledown," which is just such a sassy thing to say, and I'm like, yes.
Violet says that she wasn't necessarily ready to have another child marry so quickly, but Colin's like, well, you're still going to have Eloise next season, which fair
enough.
I'm sure that's more than anyone can handle. And then we go over to the Featheringtons.
Yes, and Penelope is pissed off about Marina and Colin.
Yeah. Like, she is very much, obviously she's got a lot of conflicted feelings because she's in love with Colin, although she's not going to admit it to herself because no one in a period drama ever allows themselves to recognize their true feelings. But she's also aware of the fact that Colin is essentially being scammed into committing to a lifelong marriage. So lots of things going on there. And Penelope's sisters, Prudence and Philippa, they're joking that they want Colin to introduce them to his handsome friends. And Marina says all their fortunes are about to change. Yeah.
Well, it also Prudence and what's the other name? Prudence and
Philippa.
They're talking about when Marina's left, and it's like, between the two of them, they will make the most beautiful baby. And they're like, "Are you so thick you don't know that they're not gonna, that the kid is not gonna look like him?" And it's like, "Oh yeah." They're so funny. Like, I think because there's I don't know, it's just something about like not the smartest people I find hilarious, I guess. Well, Eloise, we're back at the modiste, and I would look like every other lady with more bad temper, which just like cracked me up.
Yeah,
it's fair enough because the what's it called, debutantes? They all kind of look alike, don't they? So like, fair enough.
Yeah, it's the place to be.
They all kind of look alike.
Yeah, so Violet's trying to kind of like get Eloise all excited about her debut and that her skirts are going to be lowered and stuff. But of course, Eloise is kicking and dragging every step of the way. And then as this conversation goes on, Lady Featherington brings Marina in to get everything she needs for her bridal trousseau.
It is tense.
However, it's a bit awkward.
Woo!
Because not only is there this awkward tension between Marina standing there in front of who would essentially be her future mother-in-law, but Madame Delacroix goes over to Lady Featherington and has to remind her that her bill has not been settled and that she can't go about putting together anything else for her until it's paid up.
And then Marina does this. Also, another cunty woman, and I love it. She just go full on, speaks French to her, and it's like, I've never heard your French accent before. Where's that from? Don't keep up your ruse. I know that you're faking it. Get it together. You are gonna make my stuff.
Yeah, and all Madame Delacroix says is, très bon.
Très bon, très bon. It's like, okay, we'll do that. Which, honestly, like, Marina, at this point, how do you feel about Marina at this point in the book, in this show?
It's tough because, like, I don't approve of the methods that she's taking to, secure her safety. But then again, I can understand why she's doing them, or like, why she's going so far. But I still like respect her a bit for the hustle and the determination. She's got a strong will, and I like that about her.
No, I'm so here for her, like, hustle and everything, but I feel like it's a little bit, okay, even though, okay, this is that I am the president of I Hate Colin Club, but I feel like it's a bit unfair to do what she's doing to him.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, not Colin as a person, because Colin as a person sucks, but Colin, like he's a young guy. Eat the rich and all, but still, like, he's a young guy. He is fairly young for, a Regency man. And he barely has his ish together. Like, it's not fair.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why she couldn't have gone for, like, one of the older dudes that are, like, floating around, honestly. Because, like, it is a very selfish thing that she is doing. So I guess that kind of just bothered me. And especially also because you get, like, the sympathy for Penelope, who very clearly, for some reason, is so deeply in love with Colin. That Marina also later in the episode realizes. And it just feels like a bitch move from her.
Yeah, and especially, we'll cover it later, but what she ends up saying to Penelope as well is just really kind of a low blow. But
it is.
We go, yeah. I don't know. It reminded me a bit of, like, things that, like, some girls that, like, act like they're your friend end up saying to you because they, like, know they can hit you where it hurts. But yeah, we'll get into it. It's a bit messy.
It wasn't nice. Well, Daphne is a white personality and is letting all 3 pigs swing to avoid the slaughter. Huzzah. Which is kind of
And no one is happy about it.
No one's happy about it, and we don't really know why. But then we also run into we also find out that Simon Stewart at the house has been kind of a jerk and have brought up the rent and is just like, it's not great, and the tenants are kind of mad about everything. I have a dog that came to visit.
It's a dog.
There's a dog. There's a dog. There's a dog in me.
Oh my gosh, there's a dog.
It's the dog. But right, so where were we?
Yeah, so back to the festival.
Yeah, and we also see this little kid and a very pregnant mom, and Daphne's just being a natural mama, holding the child, being, like, really excited about her little kid, and you can kind of see Simon in the background being really uncomfortable with it.
And I found it very funny. There's some, not anything funny about the plot and stuff, because it is sad that Daphne's sitting there and, like, realizing how much it hurts and she wants to be a mother, and, it's going to lead to some really terrible things later in the episode. But, like, there are points where it was just so obvious that, like, the child's lines were, like, dubbed in later, because you can see parts where the kid's head is, like, turned kind of towards the camera and her mouth is not moving at all. And when she first goes up to Daphne, she's, like, crying and she's just kind of, like, leaning for somebody to go to. That kid had, like, the most straight face I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
Which, like, I know you got to do what you can when you're acting with kids. I just found it funny.
Yeah, no, kids and animals, the hardest thing to work with. So.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want that.
I wasn't looking at the kid. I was looking at the people. But, okay. Well, a kid is the person, I guess.
Yeah. Rights for children. But, yeah, I wouldn't want them to make a kid cry on set either. That's super not cool. But
I mean, imagine having that job. Who is the person to make a kid cry?
Gosh.
That would be kind of funny.
Yeah, you would find that fun. I feel like you would do a good job at that if you wanted to. You would know how to traumatize a child.
It's like that Friends episode, you know, when Joey is having a he has like a medical emergency, but his insurance is run out, so he can't go to the hospital because it will be too expensive. But he can't get a job, and to get insurance, he needs the job. But then he can't work because he's in so much pain. But then he finds this role of dying man, who is in the hospital bed. Do you know which episode it is?
I don't know which episode specifically, but I have seen it.
You have seen it, yeah. And this kid is like, he's just not crying, and he's like, I'm gonna show you something that will make you cry. And he shows him.
And then he's like,
I can't. What is it? It's a hernia.
He like pull up his
hernia.
he like pulls up his stomach, or like pulls up his shirt to show off his stomach, and the kid's like, ah! And they're like, all right, this is it.
Go 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 go. Oh, it would be so me. I want that job. No, I don't. Actually, no, that's horrible. I like children. Children are fun.
Yeah. So later, Daphne and Simon are looking at the business side of things later, and Simon's like, why haven't they been planting these crops or putting livestock here and stuff? They've all let it fall into ruin and everything, and so they're trying to figure out what they can do about the farmer's rent. And then Simon and Daphne also talk about the interactions with the child, and she says, like, she talks about, like, when her siblings will have kids someday, and Simon's like, you're going to be a great aunt.
It was a sweet moment. It was tender.
It was sweet, but you can also tell that Daphne's kind of like, except it's not what I want. But like that was kind of. Yeah.
It's like I'll make do. It's just like what can you do?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
And then we go back once again to Marina and the Featheringtons, and they're getting her ready to. They're getting her ready to go see the Bridgertons, and so she's having Marina kind of do her little like
swish to
checks
see
and everything.
Yeah,
I just love that because she was just like swish, and I was watching this episode with Sean. And he was like, "What does swish mean?" And I was like, "You gotta swish the skirts."
Yeah, if you can see it from different angles, and I just thought that was it's so funny, and that's the name of the episode too, is swish.
I know, because I remember seeing that at first, and I was like, what? Why? But then I was like, oh, that's the name of the episode. Oh my gosh, they said it. It's like when you're reading a book and they say the title of the book and the story, and you're like, oh, they did it. Wow.
Well, it was really funny. But then they're at the dinner, and honestly, talk about adapting your hobbies to your love interest.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, Marina, have you traveled? No, but now I really want to. And Colin is like, yay, men are so dumb. Especially Colin. Colin is so dumb. He's just like, yeah, no, now she does. That's great. Like, doesn't even know what Marina's own interests are, but it's... honestly, maybe Colin deserves it a little bit.
Yeah, the boy is a little dumb.
He's a little dumb, and he's... Oh my gosh, his frontal cortex hasn't fully developed yet, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, to be fair, as somebody whose frontal cortex is now calcified or whatever, you do see things differently.
You do. And Lady Featherington is trying to get like, oh yeah, we should have a quick wedding so they can be on their way. Ha ha ha. And Anthony's like, no, a lengthy engagement, please. It's just, okay, cool. And then after dinner, Prudence and the other one, I can't remember her name.
Philippa.
Philippa. They're playing the pianoforte and singing really badly. But honestly, I'm so here for it. Like, all I kept thinking about was, like, you should join karaoke, girl. You would be so loved. Because if anyone sings well at karaoke, we hate them a little bit. But if they sing poorly,
it's so
we're
unfair.
all so excited. We're like, yeah!
Mm-hmm.
So she should come to karaoke. We would all love her. And, yeah, as I said, good singers are not welcome.
Mm-hmm. It's very much sort of the 2020s equivalent of that bit in the 1995 series of Pride and Prejudice where Mary's playing at the piano and she's like, slumber, dear maid. Which, you know what? Good for Mary for putting herself out there, though, because my stage fright could never. She did that, so good for her.
She did, and so did Prudence, and I want to go do
Yes.
karaoke with her. I can hear her sing like
Hmm.
Red Wine Supernova, and we would just have the time of our life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And however, Penelope is not having as much fun as her sisters are, so
No.
she steps out into the hall
Well,
to
Colin
speak with
steps out
Colin.
first.
True.
And Penelope just like full on tells him about Mr. Crane.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like,
And
where were you expecting to go with that?
yeah, I think she's just really kind of grasping at straws at this point because she's just like, I don't know what to do. I just know I have to stop it. And
Yeah.
Colin, to be honest, I will say I did kind of respect Colin for being like, okay, so she had other attachments beforehand. That's fine. Because at least it shows, I mean, to be fair, I think in his case it's more to do with naivete,
Yeah.
but it, you know, it's not showing insecurity or jealousy or possessiveness. It's
Yeah,
very
no,
refreshing
for
to see that
real, for real.
he's not concerned about that.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. You know what? We're giving a brownie point to Colin, can we believe? Well,
Yeah.
Marina comes out as well, and Colin says, "The further I get from that pianoforte, the more it feels like a party," which just cracked me up. That was a good one.
That was very
Penelope
good.
goes back into the karaoke session. I don't know if I would invite Penelope to karaoke. I feel like she would be kind of lame to do karaoke with, so I don't want to invite her to my karaoke club. It's just me and Prudence for now.
She wouldn't want to like sing something that she doesn't know
No,
or
and
like
she
something
would
that
be
would make
so
her
bitchy
sound
about
bad.
it. And she would like leave if
Yeah.
she didn't know the lyrics to a song, she would just like step off. And it'd be like, "Come on, just you can read it." And if she did know a song, she would just stand straight up and sing it. She wouldn't like actually dance and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
She would probably pick like Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid to sing and like try to
Ugh.
sing it really well. And then if anyone
Stop.
sang anyone else sang along, she'd be like, "No, no, no, it's my song."
That's my song, man. No, I love karaoke. I'm going to karaoke this Saturday, which is why I can't come to your thing because I've had tickets for this for ages.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's
But
all right,
yeah, and
dear listeners. Yeah, dear
the,
listeners. The thing to which Mags is referring is me making my friends watch me do a PowerPoint presentation of my fictional crushes through time.
they're going to Gretna Green to get married. They kind of schemed this up. And did you know, Kaylin, that you could get married in Gretna Green up until like the 1990s? Like a
Really?
full-on Las Vegas wedding.
Wow, that's wild. But yeah,
I
so
know.
Marina, yeah, Marina, before she says it too, she's just like, your family will never accept me and stuff. And
And the
I feel
Featheringtons
like
are
she's,
horrible. Mwah.
yeah, she's kind of doing it to emotionally manipulate him
Oh yeah.
into agreeing to
Marry
eloping,
her.
which at that point I was really like, ooh, that's a bit uncomfortable.
It was very
Eh,
uncomfortable. Like I understand, but but yeah. So, but I thought it was funny because I was thinking that it's a Scottish Las Vegas Gretna Green, right?
mhm.
And now it is 100% canon. Colin slash Elvis is going to Vegas slash Gretna Green.
Oh my gosh.
Bright light
Yes.
city's gonna set my soul, gonna set my soul on fire.
Here comes the bride, all
They all
dressed in
dressed in
white.
white.
Anyway, so they're planning on having their Vegas Scottish wedding, and Daphne wakes up alone in bed and she's looking for Simon. And on the way, she passes the nursery, and so she has to close the door before going to Simon's office. And he's complaining about the crops, and Daphne decides that she's going to be so kind and charitable and go and give gift baskets to the tenants.
Which is
But
cute. But can we also talk about how beautiful that office was?
oh gosh, it was gorgeous.
Oh, it was like yellow, I think. Like unexpected, but yes.
Mm-hmm. I can't
Yes.
wait till I have an office someday.
Mm, for real. It was so pretty. Well, Daphne is going to cut Lavender, and the housekeeper is being a little bit of a bitch again. And she's like, "You can't do that. You're a mistress." I mean, come on.
Like,
Surely.
I understand that she doesn't have to, but surely if she wants to.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I feel like it's stepping on toes for this house. Like, she's not a very good housekeeper. If I was Daphne, I would have fired her. Because she's overstepping a lot. It's just, like, not cool, because you're supposed to be cool with your housekeeper. Like, it's basically your co-worker.
I feel like Daphne would be the type where she would, you know, and as we see, she tries to kind of go more so above and beyond to please her, because she kind of sees it as her
she's such a
being
white
accepted into being a duchess.
She's such a white
Very
personality.
much so.
It's, yeah, I love white personality. That sounds bad. So there's a thing called a color code, dear listeners, and it's like, it's my Bible. It's how I understand people, and you have 4 different personalities. It's way better than the 16 personalities, whatever, because it is simple and you can memorize everything. And white personality is basically like a really relaxed, calm, aiming for peace at all cost. Yeah. And I love white personalities, but like, come on, Daphne, grow a pair.
Someone might do like a cut of this one day where they like cut out the ality part of it and they're just like, she's such a white person.
It's like how we get canceled again.
Yeah. Anyway. So.
But yeah, no one will take Daphne's baskets.
Which, to be fair, from what I could see in the baskets, I'm sure they put more things in them. It just looked like it was stalks of lavender, which made sense a bit because, like, if you're a starving villager, okay, yeah, I couldn't quite tell, but yeah,
I think that she said that she did, so
okay, that makes more sense. Because at first, all I could really see was the lavender, and I was like, for me personally, I probably would take it, but I could see why somebody else would be like, I don't want a stalk of lavender.
Well, I would get it for the free basket. You can never get enough free baskets.
I love a basket. Oh my gosh, I can't wait
a basket.
I can't wait to bring out my picnic basket.
A basket. I had a really nice picnic basket, but it broke. Aww. And then I got really mad, so I got rid of it. I love a good basket.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so Daphne's conclusion, yet again, like, she is like a 19-year-old girl. Her conclusion to why people won't take her basket is because she should have worn a different dress.
Which, to be fair, like, I actually really liked the dress she was wearing. It was like this beautiful off-white with embroidered purple flowers. I thought it was gorgeous. So, yeah. Because I remember I said out loud, I was like, what do you mean? I love that dress. But she runs into the little girl and the girl's mother again, and she takes a moment to confide in the girl's mother and asks why people aren't warming up to her. She asks if she's done something wrong, and so the mom is like, well, you didn't choose a pig, and it's tradition that the winning pig, like the family who has that pig, gets to supply the estate with pork for the year, but nobody won, so now no farmer has a pork contract. And so she's like, oh shoot, like I messed that up. Okay, well we'll fix it, we'll make it happen. And we do see at one point later in the episode that pork is being served on the table, so we can assume that Daphne did go through and kind of retroactively give the results or do something.
Yeah. No, she has to sidetrack there. I don't really understand why this was a big deal in the episode, but okay. Cute. Like, I understand for the plot we needed to see her with the kid, but I don't really understand why the whole pigs had to... Whatever. Cool. And the housekeeper, she's like, okay, actually, go Daphne. She had, like, a sit-down with her housekeeper, and it's like, hey, we should have a talk. And so she sits and have a talk, but somehow they come to... I don't understand how we got there, but they came to the topic of sex. I mean, it was something along the lines of, like, the old Duchess trying so hard to have a child, even when it was, like, hurting her, and then she talks about, well, maybe they were blaming her all the time, but really, maybe it's the man, because sometimes the man's seed is not good enough. Blah, 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 blah. Which is, very progressive point of view from this housekeeper. I did not see that coming from her.
It is.
Yeah.
So, good for her.
Good for her. But that, you literally see the pinwheels turn in Daphne's mind when she hears this. She's like, oh, tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, the math equations are floating in front of her face.
Yeah. No, it is. It's that lady, that meme of like, the prophecy is true. No, just kidding. No, but just thinking really loudly. Penelope, back in London, is clearly pretending to be sick, and I just thought it was really funny because she's coughing, not realistic. I'm like, come on, you're a better actress than that.
Yeah, it's very Mean Girls. I'm sick.
I'm sick.
Boo-hoo,
And Lady Featherington basically, Lady Featherington has basically the same reaction. Boo, you whore. And once Penelope has been left alone, she sneaks out of her room and goes into Marina's room to look at Marina's love letters. And when she grabs them, she starts to look at some of the different signatures, and she determines that the last letter has a forged signature, and therefore it must be a fake.
It must be.
And so she goes to Marina, and she's like, guess what I just found out? It's about to blow your whole mind. George didn't write this, so... Oh, sorry, I got an email. Let me just mute my computer.
Email?
I know.
You have friends.
Yeah. Not friends, I have business.
I have business.
So,
I got business to take care of. I'm Colin. Hi.
Yes, that is what I sound like.
Yeah, hi, my name is Colin Nicole. I have a TikTok. I work in museums. I am about 6 feet tall. I'm very nice. I apparently have been a smoker for the past 50 years, even though I'm like 25. No, I'm 27 actually. I could do math. I have a boyfriend. Hi, Sean.
Okay, the funny thing is, sorry, another tangent, relating to another podcast that I've been doing. I originally pitched a character, who works at the radio station that like has a channel about love songs, and the whole point is like it's set in the underworld, and so she has like this really raspy like smoker's voice like that. And she's like had to hook up with every single like big historical figure in history. We ended up having to scrap the idea, but her name was Gina Blacklung.
No, I'm pretty sure her name is Kaylin. Kaylin Nicole. Kaylin Blue Jay Stocking. I think that's your handle.
Yeah, you got it.
Alright, and
Anyway.
I was supposed to be a lunch lady at a school, but then, working at the museum and stuff was more fun. And now I'm just doing this, and I also have a podcast. And, it's great.
You've been able to do a decent impression of it after recovering from your cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you listeners, you guys don't see it, but once we hit like end record and stuff, I sneak back into my goblin form and I'm like, thanks Mags for joining me again tonight. And then I like crawl back into my cave and I don't come out again unless somebody answers a riddle.
Yeah, like...
We have potential for so many cold opens. Anyway, so so Marina is like, okay, well, goblins aside, George still hasn't replied to my letters. And she's like, so it doesn't change anything. And Penelope is like, I'm gonna give you a moment. Marina's like, goblins aside, George still hasn't replied to any of my letters. And Penelope's like, well, I know you're going to go to Scotland with Colin. And Marina's like, oh, so you like him. And she's like, well, you know what? Colin is a good man. He'll care for me and my baby. And Penelope's like, well, I'm not in love with Colin. I don't know what you're talking about. And so Marina is like, look, he doesn't feel that way about you. He only sees you as a sister, but he sees me as a wife. Which
yeah, it's just,
That
Yeah,
was rough.
it's just a really mean, bitchy thing to say.
Yeah.
We're just like, I don't know
It's
how I feel about Marina anymore. Like
it's really a way to rub salt in the wound. I was really rooting for Marina beforehand. I felt bad for her, but then when she kind of started scheming like this and really just sort of taking advantage of people, I definitely lost some respect.
yeah. Well, back to whatever Simon's hood. And he is in his office. Daphne comes in. He's in a sexy black pirate shirt, which is like a hot take. And I think Bernadette Banner's also made a black pirate shirt, so we'll see you, Bernadette.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, Daphne's kind of. I feel like she comes in with like a goal, right? Like she has something on her face, kind of thing. She's like, yeah, let's see what's
Mm-hmm.
going on here. So she has sex with Simon on the desk. I feel like it's the least satisfying sex at all because it's literally like three thrusts and then okay, he is having a pull-out game again and comes in his hand kind of thing. Like it's not hot. Well,
Yeah, Sean kind of referred to him as like a one pump pony.
not wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Daphne definitely has questions. So she runs down, finds her lady's maids, and asks for a real sex education. And then we're at the dinner, and you can tell that Daphne's having a out of body experience as Simon is just going off about whatever it is that Simon is going off about, and there's literally a
Mm-hmm.
baby pig on a plate on the table. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, whoa. Okay.
Yeah. So lots to take in.
It's a bit in your
And
face.
then yeah, and then Simon tries to curl up next to Daphne in the bed, but she's pretending to be asleep. But like even if you are asleep, you would probably wake up to that kind of touch. But
I mean,
nevertheless, Simon lets her be. I don't know. I'm just a light sleeper, I guess.
if I don't want to, I will not. I will continue to pretend, and it's fine.
Yeah, that's fair. Which is exactly what
So,
Daphne's done. And then the next
yeah.
morning when Simon wakes up, he finds that Daphne is not in the bed.
Nope.
And
And Daphne is gone on a trip to give a bunch of supplies to the tenants, and then she decides to have a sad girl walk home.
yeah, we don't talk enough about how effective a sad girl walk can be, because like I've been hearing hot girl walks trend a lot, but like sad girl walks deserve just as much recognition. And once she does get back to the estate, she's looking at the portrait of Simon's mother, and then Simon enters the room and invites her to come to bed with him. And this, dear listeners, is where we're going to issue a content warning here.
Yeah, I would not listen to the rest of the episode probably after this because it's just not great.
There's not going to be a way to like really draw like
No,
jokes or anything
it
from
needs
this.
to be talked about because I feel like I'm sorry, Kaylin and everyone, but I feel like this is not doesn't have a nice resolution. It's not talked about. It's not addressed. The fandom does address it, but certain parts of the fandom don't address it, and it's a lot why a lot of people fall out with Bridgerton is this episode because it is freaking problematic, and especially I haven't seen Baby Reindeer yet. Or what it's called. I can't remember, but that's what it's called. It's on my watch list, but
Yeah, I've been hearing about it.
abuse against men and sexual abuse in a marriage for anyone is never okay. Uh, so it's gonna be rough to talk about. We'll see how much Kayla and I actually do talk, but we're gonna try. We're gonna have a crack at this. Remember, we're people. Consent is always important. Like if you find yourself in a relationship that is abusive or whether that's emotionally, physically, or sexually, like
Yeah, and I also want to add another disclaimer that even after a marriage ceremony has taken place, consent is still just as important.
Oh, yeah.
Just because you are married to the person, it doesn't mean that consent is automatically given.
No,
And
it's
yeah.
Well, it's sexy time, I guess, and there's a completely new resolution in Daphne's face. She gets on top of him as they're having sex, and he's very, like, you can see pain in his face when he's about to come, right? And she just, like, holds him down.
Yeah.
And he's telling her to stop. and he comes inside of her, and he just looks absolutely devastated. And she looks she looks malicious as she
She
storms off.
does. And that's the thing too, is like, this action is not something done out of love, because she does say to him that like deceiving somebody is not love, but what she's done is not love either. And she pulls on the tears afterwards to try to make Simon feel bad about this. And you like, someone's going to go in and play devil advocate and be like, oh, well, he lied to her and stuff. Okay, yeah, but in what world does that constitute him
Rape.
deserving to have his consent taken away? How does that constitute an assault? It doesn't.
It doesn't. Like, it just doesn't. And just like, it's also because we have known Simon since he was a child, right? Like, in the story, we have known him since he was a child, and it's just so heart-wrenching because he is absolutely wrecked, and he's stammering from the bed, and he's just incapable of standing up even. Like, he's so traumatized. And I'm just, what is wrong with her? And in the book, like, this, honestly, this is even worse in the books because he's technically asleep as she's doing it. And it's just, I know, it's just absolutely horrible. And he wakes up because he's having an orgasm, and he's like, oh my gosh, what's going on, kind of thing. And it's just like, a cup of tea.
Oh gosh.
Sleeping people do not want a cup of tea. Unconscious people do not want a cup of tea. If someone says that they wanted a cup of tea last week, doesn't mean they want to have a cup of tea today. It's I just hate lack of communication storylines. Like, they're not fun. If they last for, like, in the book, maybe a chapter or two, but this has been, like, a solid freaking more than half of the season. And it's just, especially when it's at this level, because, like, I understand where her pain is coming from. It still doesn't justify her actions.
Not at all. And there are so many steps that could have been taken before that.
Yeah, like, talk to him.
To immediately jump to that. Yeah, to immediately jump to something like that is frightening.
Yeah, just jump to rape. Here we go. Like, it's not great. And he also says that it's just so heart-wrenching because okay, so here is the miscommunication is where he said, I can't have children. Like, you should have explained that more, my dude. For one, I understand, like, you should have explained that more. But he also says that I would have died for you. I would have died for your future. But then you said that I was enough. Pain.
That's true. She did promise him that she would be okay with that. And it's understandable that she's been having these thoughts, that she's been having a hard time kind of plating these desires to have a family that she's wanted for such a long time. But it just doesn't justify the rape. It's just, oh gosh.
It's horrible.
You can just see how much it hurts him in that moment. And oh gosh, it makes me sick.
Yeah, no, Daphne went from being, like, a pretty fun character to, like, one of the worst characters, because I'm afraid to say that I feel like it's not justified ever, and it's never like no. I feel like you can't even clean this up. So I don't understand why the Bridgerton writers had to include this in their writing. Why did she have to rape him? Like, if I were to rewrite this, I would rather have them have a discussion about it.
Or, like, even have an instance where Simon doesn't, like, perhaps just doesn't pull out as quickly as he usually does, and then he starts panicking, and she's like, why are you worried? And then he has to, like, explain.
Yeah, no, like, there could have been so many ways we could have done this, but no, we immediately jumped to this, and it's just, if they want Daphne to be a sympathetic character, like, don't have her rape her husband. Like, it's that simple.
But yeah.
Yeah, this is rough. Well, luckily, Eloise and Penelope make up on the swing because Penelope is full on crying, comes to see her friend. There's no actual dialogue there, I think.
I think that's fitting, because sometimes I feel like we've all had moments like that where you just are feeling really weak and defeated, and you just see your friend and you just immediately start breaking down. You don't say a word because
Yeah.
you just see that person. You're like, oh, thank goodness there's at least some comfort, and you have that freedom to release everything that you've been feeling. But
No, it was a
following
sweet
that
moment.
exchange, yeah, it is very sweet, and it's good to see them make up.
It
And then
is.
following that exchange, Lady Whistledown is making another announcement. And Colin has packed up to go to Scotland, and he's gallivanting down the
He's going
stairs.
to Light City. He's going to set my soul. He's going to Gretna Green to get married.
Get married. French listeners are like, what?
Don't pick on the French, Caitlin. We already have beef with the French.
Okay, true. I need to stop. Je suis désolée. Je suis très désolée. But Violet is waiting for Colin down at the end of the stairs, and she's holding the latest edition of Lady Whistledown, and inside it reports that Marina is pregnant and has been since her arrival. And then to parallel this, Marina is getting ready to leave with Colin, but Lady Featherington stops her on the way out, and she has also heard the news. And then we get separate shots of Simon and Daphne sitting in separate beds, looking very distraught, and then cut.
Yeah, we did it, Caitlin.
We did, and I hope, dear listeners, that if you did stay and listen to that discussion, there's absolutely no obligation to have listened to it if it, made you uncomfortable. So if you skipped past it, there's absolutely no judgment or hard feelings. But if you did listen, I hope that you felt that we were able to address it with the weight that a subject like that deserves. And we want you to know, dear listeners, that we want this podcast to be a safe space for you. And we want you to feel welcome and protected here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. No, so back to scales. I mean, I was really bad because I was sewing my pirate shirt that I'm making for my Regency outfit. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And I didn't want to have any liquids around it, so I actually didn't do that. And then I was also taking notes, so it's just I didn't have time to do both. But it was a pretty good one. We didn't have any Lady Danbury in this episode, which was a real disappointment. We had a lot of Anthony being stressed, Eloise being a kind of a pick-me girl. I feel like she's more sympathetic in this episode somehow because I get it.
Yeah,
because it is a scary.
They
thing
toned
to
her
become
down
an
a
adult.
bit. Yeah, because there's a bit too where she's like pulling down her hair after having it put up.
Yeah.
And yeah.
A lot of allures to Lady Whistledown. Daphne wears 5 million dresses. There's been a lot of people naked. Anthony loses his mind. Absolutely. Featherington's looks outrageous. Well, they were singing outrageous more than anything. The Queen wasn't on the screen this episode, was she?
I don't think we saw her. Not this time.
Oh, what a shame. Our two queens, Danbury and the Queen, wasn't there. Oh, well. And I did recognize a bunch of vitamin strings, whatever, quartet.
Yeah.
So, it was like a 7 out of 10. Episode, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kaylin, shall we wrap this up?
I think we shall. Thank you for listening to Two Girls, One Corset. If you enjoyed our podcast, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review.
Don't forget to follow us on social media at Two Girls, One Corset Pod for behind-the-scenes looks, updates, and more period drama content.
And be sure to share the podcast with your friends who love all things romance and historical drama.
Until next time, keep your corsets tight and your hearts open.
Farewell, dear listeners.